Alright, so these are my pull ring fuses. As you can see, they have little pull rings on them to make them really easy to ignite, even if it's windy out. They're super easy to make, super cheap. They cost about 2 cents each, and they work really well if you make them right. And that's why at the end of this video, I'm going to put kind of a troubleshooting part, just so that if you're having a hard time getting them going, hopefully that'll help you out. But yeah, if you make them right, they'll work. I'd say 90% of the time. So anyways, I'm going to go inside now and show you how to make them. So to make it, you'll need some matches, preferably a matchbook. You can also use the wooden matches, but it'll take a little longer to make, and it's also harder to cut the wooden matches, which we'll be doing. So anyways, you'll need some matches, a paper clip, a rubber band, some masking tape, and some scissors. So to start with here, we're just going to take our matches and just tear them out of their little paper package. And we'll do this right now. Just cut off the striker. Doesn't have to be perfect. And set that aside because we'll need it later. So that's that. And now I'm just going to cut the staple away from the matches. You still want there to be a bit of a kind of a bridge between the matches here, because we're going to separate these two halves. Tear off 2 matches. We'll use them later. Whoops, sorry, that's 3. 2 matches. We'll use them later. And now you're just going to tear these in half and tear this half in half as well. So now you're going to take your masking tape like this, and you're going to lay down like that. Just lay your matches down so that the head of each match is kind of in line with the top, or with this side of the masking tape. Do that with all the matches. The reason we tear them in half is because if you don't, if they're like this, it'll actually kind of be curved, because the heads of the matches kind of expand or are larger than this area down here, so it'll kind of be curved, so it doesn't work with that. Anyways, you can try it out. I just find this is a lot easier if you tear your halves kind of in half first. Anyways, once that's done, you'll have something like this. As you can see, the ends are kind of in line with the edge of the masking tape. And then you're going to do the same thing, except just tear off a piece, lay it on top, and then you'll have something like this. So you want to be able to see the heads of your matches. That's important. I'll explain why in a second. Anyways, you're just going to snip off this part here, and same thing on the other side. I've already done that. And then you're just going to go ahead and cut off the heads of your matches. You should have quite a bit of masking tape holding them all together. When that's done, you'll have your basic fuse. Now I'll explain why. It's very important that you can see the heads of your matches, because when I was first developing this fuse, I actually wrapped it in masking tape, and it worked some of the time. Some of the time it was more like a rocket, because what happens is, like say this match kind of flares, the only place it'll have to go if you wrap it in masking tape is to the other end, or this way. So if it goes to the other end, well, it'll kind of go in either direction, and it'll just ignite all the matches left, all the match heads left. It'll ignite them really fast, and all the other match heads will do the same thing. And some of the time, I actually lit my fuse, and it acted as a rocket and flew across to the other side of my basement. So that wasn't too good. So you just want to be able to make sure you can see the heads of your matches, because right now, if you light your fuse, kind of the flare will go out the side, and then it'll kind of burn across and light the next match. So you'll have about 8 to 10 seconds with this fuse. If you wrap it up in masking tape, you'll have in between 1 second and 2 seconds. So anyways, you want to make sure you can see the heads of your matches. Then what we're going to do is take our 2 matches we tore off earlier. Hopefully you set them aside. If not, you can just use more matches from a matchbook or whatever. The one thing I do want to point out, if you need a longer fuse, just add more matches. So you're just going to arrange them like this, one on either side there, and then you're going to just put some tape around them, and it'll look like this. Now you noticed I've only used half the thickness to tape them. Like you can see it's only half as wide as the actual masking tape is. That's because I don't want to create too much of a, like I said earlier, I don't want to wrap my matches up that much. So like if you're using this for instance for a firework, you want to make sure you don't tape it to the firework. You want to you just want to let it kind of hang around there. So then what you're going to do is you're going to take your match striker, And if you're concerned about the strength of your match striker, they don't tear too easily, but if you're concerned about it tearing when you pull the cord, you'll see in a second here, you can just put some duct tape, or I've used Gorilla Tape on the back of it like that. You want to make sure you don't put it on this side, of course. So then what you're going to do is take your paper clip and just kind of unfold it here and fold it, or kind of bend it into a ring shape. This is mine. You're going to take your match striker, put it around there like that, and then you're just going to pop it on the end of your fuse, making sure it's touching those matches, right? Then take your rubber band and just put your rubber band around it. And you don't want it to be too tight, because if it is, you'll have a hard time pulling it. Anyways, I'm not going to worry about that. Once you're done, like you saw earlier, it looks pretty good when it's done. And I'm going to go outside, finish wrapping this up, go outside and see how it works. So this is it. I've just taped it onto my firework fuse because I didn't feel like taking apart my firework, drilling a bigger hole so that this fuse would fit, so this will just have to do. And it's pretty windy out here, so I don't think I'd be able to light this fuse with a lighter. So anyways, here it goes. And 3, 2, 1. As you can see, it burns pretty slowly. There we go. Oh, look at that. Zoom out here. So welcome to my tips part of these fuses. The first thing I'll just point out here is occasionally what'll happen is if your fuse just stops all of a sudden, like you can see here, and that shouldn't happen that much, but if it does, it's because you can see there's a huge gap where you can see the match heads there. You want the gap to look more like this, to be nice and small. You want to be able to see them all, but you only want like a 1/16 inch kind of gap there. So just make sure it's not too big. Like this one here, you can pretty much see the whole match head. Right. The second thing is you see this thing that wraps around right there. You don't want it to be too thick. I know it's happened to me several times where I've made it too thick and it actually smothers the matches underneath it. And so I'm not sure if you can see it there, but I can actually see a bit of kind of the match head color, like the pink, under the tape there. You want to make sure you can kind of, you only want like one layer of masking tape there. And then the third thing I'll point out is it's never actually happened to me. If you're having trouble, like if these two outside matches aren't igniting the center one, you can just cut away a bit of the masking tape there, like you can see there, and then you shouldn't have any problems there. And yeah, by the way, I'm pretty sure the reason that it'll stop sometimes is because if the masking tape isn't kind of containing the match heads enough, like on this one here, the flare from the match will just go outwards and it won't be enough to ignite the next one. I'm not entirely sure though, but that's just what I think. So anyways, if you have any trouble with it, just leave a comment or whatever and I'll try and help you out. So that's it. I hope you enjoyed that video and learned something out of it. That's it.